life story and everything like that. Nigga, you can't cut.
It's a switch, right?
You should probably shut up and let me finish.
The audience is going to know.
You should probably shut up and let me finish.
Without
let me finish.
I got it on good authority that it was 4th grade.
Nigga, you ain't got no authority.
Incubated.
Intubated.
Integrated.
Intubated. Intubated.
In situation.
This nigga. Pretty sure I'm speaking English. I think a girl broke my heart or some shit, right? Mom, you don't fucking understand, right?
What's happening? I'm General Gator.
What's happening, y'all? This is General Mamba.
And this is the Gator and Mambashow.
Let's get it.
Today, my guest is General Mamba. What's happening, General Mamba?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good tonight.
Nice to see you, fella.
Yep, same.
All right. So, we'll get right into it, right? I got 2 important questions right off the bat. One of them is, where you from, my man?
Where I'm from. Now, if I say Indiana, everybody gonna think Gary, Indiana, but I ain't from Gary, Indiana. It's a very, very southern spot that I'm from. We right on the Ohio River. It's called Evansville, Indiana, and Evansville, Indiana, was at that time a hell of a lot of damn projects. Actually, it's some of the first projects that ever happened or whatever. So, from Evansville, Indiana.
All right, quick segue. When you say first project that ever happened, can you explain what is a project?
Projects is just that. It's what we call the ghetto, but projects is literally apartments living on top of each other, back to back to back to back, or side by side. One would call them like townhomes nowadays, but it was a bit different as far as growing up. I think the original thought process in it was the townhome feel, because a lot of folks in Evansville, Indiana, used to work the car stuff and or the mills and stuff like that, because they was right on the river.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll jump into my second question.
Let's jump.
So, why are you doing this show?
Great fucking question, right? Why am I doing this damn show? Let me keep it a buck. There's been some verbiage out about myself and even the business that I'm in, that we're in actually, and in terms of white America, if you will, white supremacy America. One of the ways that they attack you is they always try to sully your name. They always try to talk negative about what you do, who you are. They try to find the worst shit about you. So instead of going back to whatever news station and saying, no, we're actually nice guys, we're like, fuck that. We're going to tell our own narrative. We're gonna wait for the audience to come to us and tell them exactly blow by blow what's popping. So instead of going to them and having them chop up and edit and we say this and then they chop up and then you don't hear the full story, we right here. So that's why I'm doing this.
All right, my man, I feel like you're glossing over the story. But what I assume is in this whole podcast, you'll tell it all. But we'll let you have your anonymity for right now.
Right now, yeah. That's why it's called Still Can't Breathe, baby.
Okay, that's a copy. Okay, so my next question is, so you obviously ain't in Evansville any longer. So what brought you to Minnesota? And when you got here, did you go to the projects again?
Nah, projects in Evansville was the last adventure, if you will. Came up here because my aunt actually came up here. She pioneered herself up here. She'll tell you to this day she had like $40 in her pocket and just hopes and dreams. And she actually came here trying to do some welding or something like that, but found out, I think she either got burned or something from welding. She was like, this ain't for me. So she decided to come up here. And she was the first one to come up here. And then after that, my mom, a few years later, decided to come up here. But it wasn't no quick old let's follow sis kind of thing. My mom was actually dealing with baby daddies at that time, as well as I think she was a thief. She stole some shit. Yeah, she stole some shit, and then she didn't want to get busted, so she ran up here to get away with her sister.
She was stealing.
Yeah, she was.
What was she stealing?
I don't know. I never went that deep with her and asked her. Like, I'm just like, I don't think older people like to discuss all the details.
Copy. I got you. All right, so then my next question is, since you was done with the projects when you got here to Minnesota, so no more projects. I would assume no more rough life, but I understand that you had some early on struggles with asthma. Tell me about that.
Yeah, when we got here, I want to say like Evansville asthma is different than fucking Minnesota asthma, because of all the change in weather and shit like that. But when we got here, we got to South Minneapolis, and I grew up South Minneapolis, South Side. And just the change in the atmosphere was just a struggle, only because I came up here with, I got one brother, but I got three main cousins, if you will. We grew up like brothers. So basically I got a total of 5. But we was always adventurous. You ever seen that, what is that? What is that movie where the white boys is in the train tracks, and is it Lean on Me? No,
Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. Stand By Me, right? That was us. Always going on adventures, going everywhere. They told us to go outside at 8 o'clock a.m. We came back at 10 p.m., or before the lights came on or whatever. That was always us. But the problem with that is my struggle was I could never keep up. I always had to have an inhaler, or I had to keep close or some shit like that or whatnot. And that shit, not only that, you also had cousins who we, do the dozens and shit. So everybody always capping on each other. It's like, nigga, shut up. You can't even keep up. I'll run right now. You can't keep up, right? Just, kids are cruel.
Damn.
Right? Kids are fucking cruel.
Damn.
So I had, had that bag or whatever. So, but, and let alone with that, with asthma, I was intubated before. That means I had to be put on a machine because basically I was intubated.
Integrated?
Intubated.
In situation.
This nigga. Pretty sure I'm speaking English. And you got a computer right the fuck in front of you. You can, and Siri.
I didn't know what the hell happened to you, man. I'm trying to figure out what happened to you, man.
So anyway,
was it surgery or what? What was it called? Say it one more time. One more time.
It's a machine. When they say, bag them, and they got to put the thing down your throat and shit like that, and the machine start breathing for you.
Yeah.
That's intubation.
Yeah.
So I was intubated, and when I was intubated, honestly, that part changed my life in terms of just having me a bit more daring and shit, because I've actually told you this story where I was floating over my body, and I seen my mom and my auntie crying, and then I went out in the hallway and I heard the doctor say something, and then maybe a day or so later I woke up and I told the doctors exactly what they said out in the hallway and stuff like that or whatever. They're like, there's no way you can hear that. I was like, I believe I was on my deathbed at that time. So after that, I began to become a lot more fearless and shit in life. So that's my asthma struggle, if you will. All lasted up until high school for the most part. I was very athletic, extremely athletic. But because of asthma, I could juke you on the court, but nigga, I'm like, do, and that's about it. Like, pass the ball, and I got to get off the damn court after that. So,
damn.
Yeah, it was a bitch.
All right, so where I come from, there's really 2 type of dudes, right? There's street dudes or church dudes. Which dude is you?
Well, see, that's the thing, though. I don't think we're all. I like to when we think of people. I don't like putting people in one box. So I was never monolithic, right? I was never one thing. So yeah, Grandma started us in the church. We had to go to church Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and sometimes Saturdays. And then we had to do usher travels and choir travels and all that kind of shit, like fully engulfed in the church. But as I said, I got four brothers, if you will. And growing up with four brothers, we always got into shit. And one of the things we got into, because my uncle was a part of it, was selling dope. So we got into selling dope.
You saying that on the radio, man?
Goddamn right, I can say it on the radio.
Coming after you, Jack. I don't know nothing. I ain't seen
come
nothing.
Rico me right now.
Okay. They be watching. You know they watching.
But actually, that's one of the things that got me to stop, because my uncle got Rico'd, and all of his shit got taken. All of it. And he was fly as fuck. He had fly shit everywhere, and all of it was gone. So I'm like, damn, I can work hard no matter how hard I work, no matter how hard I hustle, how I flip this game or whatever, and you could just take everything? Therein lies where the church came in. The church came in. Right, church had that little bit of balance where it's like, I mean, you ain't got to be all street, but you also can have a thought process, think outside the box element.
Ah, nice. I like that. Okay. So tell me, who's the most inspirational person to you?
That would be my mother. And my mother passed, now it's on 3 years. She died from COVID. My mother's the most inspirational because, like, I always tell people, you want to, they be talking about unconditional love and you don't see what that looks like because they be talking about God. I'm like, if you want to look at my mom, you'll see God, because it was unconditional. I have been kicked out a couple times, right? I had to come back, apologize to my mom, even after the shit I said. I said some horrible shit too.
To your mom?
Well, not like.
Wait, nigga, you say you from the projects, man.
Right, bro,
niggas from the projects don't talk back to their mom because you
get
your ass beat, man. What's happening?
The first time I talked back to my mom,
I think we need a fact check.
I think a girl broke my heart or some shit, right? And I was like, Mom, you don't understand. I went white kid like a motherfucker. I was like, Mom, you don't fucking understand, right? She's like, don't talk to me. I was like, you just don't get it. I'm gone. So I left. I think it was like 3-4 months or whatever. I ain't leave far. But then I had to come back and retract. The second time was over a woman too, was over my ex-wife. So I snapped on my mom because of that too.
What would you do for love?
Yeah, you snap out on your mom for you. But no, even though after that, right, my mom always opened the door back, because she actually taught me to humble myself and apologize. Like, hey, Mom, I fucked up. I shouldn't have talked to you this way. I'll do better. It was because of this. Like, she always opened the door where I can be transparent or whatnot. So if there's anybody that inspired me more than anything, and to be the person that I am and to be consistent in that aspect, the love that I give for people, is my mother. Second will be a lot of these gentlemen in certain time frames that have been in my life. One gentleman, Ed Irwin, exploded my mind with books, with logic, with information. Just read. We was at Otiano's bookstore, South Minneapolis, right off Lake and I forgot. I know it was right by the Circle of Discipline, Lake and something. But Otiano's bookstore, where we went in there, and Professor Mahmoud El-Kati was there every so often. Yep, teaching and educating us and stuff like that. So
shout out to Mahmoud
El-Kati, Professor Mahmoud El-Kati, Ed Irwin. But one of the cats who inspired me more than anything was I call him my stepdad. Call him Eddie. Well, he is Eddie. But he's the cat that, taught me man shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, be funny, but be fearless. Taught me how to box and stuff. And after learning how to box, being my height or whatever. Matter of fact, by the way, I've been this fucking height since I was in 8th grade. Just FYI. So a nigga had to learn.
I got
early.
it on good authority that it was 4th grade.
What'd you say?
I got it on good authority that it was 4th grade.
Nigga, you ain't got no authority. I'm telling you the authority. Nigga, don't crush my heights. But no, I've been like 5'6" since fucking 8th grade. So and everybody was sprouting up. So I had to learn some things. I had, hands going with me. Plus I knew some martial arts and stuff like that. Went to the Circle of Discipline, learned.
Wait, let's not skip over that. What kind of martial arts do you know?
That's why I'm going to the Circle of Discipline. Circle of Discipline. Over there, I was educated by another man that taught me qigong, kung fu. Then I learned, more boxing there, if you will, not professional, but more foreign boxing. Eddie's was more street, but keep your hands up kind of boxing. And then Circle of Discipline was more crispy, if you will, and whatnot. And then as I left Circle of Discipline and started to get into like Jeet Kune Do and submission fighting and stuff like that. So I started to really educate my own self, reading a lot of Bruce Lee at that time too, because he was like, yeah, use no form as form. I was like, yeah, just learn it all and figure your shit out. So I was just like, let me go out here and be hungry and work all these angles and whatnot till I became the monster that I became. Started teaching my boys, started educating them. They was monsters or whatnot. So good as gold.
That's right. Yeah, I seen you fight a couple times. You're a little dude, but you can fight.
I mean, I got a little something.
Well, my final question to you, my man, is: do you got something that you want to leave your audience with?
I would say, for the most part, never look at a man as far as being one-dimensional. The thing with you or I, there are circumstances and instances in life that has molded us to be the individuals that we are, the individual that I am today, right? And neither one of those circumstances define me. All of them define me, right? So that's why you can't put me in this box of, oh, church, yeah, you turn on some gospel music or whatever. I hear my mama right now, Sunday cleaning and all that shit. But, you play some Jeezy and all that. I remember the trap and shit like that to a certain degree or whatever, But you can't put a man in one damn box. And if you do, you underestimate the individual.
All right, well said.
All right, so I gave you the rundown. And I got some questions I want to ask for you.
Sure.
So for one, General Gator, what's up with that? What's that from? What is that?
General, the title General was given to me, like a doctor. You can't just call yourself a doctor. You kind of gotta earn that title. I earned the title of General, and then my name is Gator.
Respectively. Okay. I can dig that. So, and continue with my questions. Where are you from?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Why are you doing a show? You from where?
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis.
Shout out
Show me.
Northside.
Show me. You from the show me.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
What do you explain?
Because you need to see shit right now.
Hey, show me, nigga. Show me.
But why you doing this show though?
This show is specific for me to talk about the things that our community need to be a whole, a one, a unit, a collection, a collective.
So to bring us together.
Absolutely, by letting you know what the other side is doing to us behind our back or maybe in front of our face.
Right in front of our face. Good shit. So, not to be an ass, but I mean, what makes you qualified to even speak in that capacity?
That's a long story, brother, but if you got the time, I got it too.
Oh, we got time.
Well,
We got
do
time.
it.
So let's start with easy. Your childhood. Tell me about that.
I'm sure a lot of, late 30s, early 40s, men can relate, just a little young black nigga, mom, stitching cord, going ham. You know what I mean? Beat a nigga into oblivion. You know what I mean? So it was a bit rough, you know what I mean? So I kind of caught a fighting spirit immediately, with the thought of not being able to survive. It's a fight to survive. So I start fighting.
Oh. So a lot of fear in that sense then. Of getting your next whooping.
I would say everything at that point had to fear me.
Yeah, afterward. So in your transition from that background, you had a foundation that molded you into this maybe this teenage you then, and this teenage you transitioned into a certain lifestyle. I would presume.
Not quite. So I left the house at 12 years old, and
like run away.
Yeah, I ran away. I sure did. The stitching cords hurt, Jack. I'm just being real honest with you.
They do.
Yo, man.
Shit.
One more whip on the back, I couldn't take it. So I smashed. And now I'm on my own, and I committed my first crime at 12.
What was it?
It was robbery. It was robbery, and the circumstances was this: I was staying at my cousin's house. I was hungry. That nigga didn't have no food. For 2 days in a row, I went every second looking in the refrigerator to see nothing. And my stomach was like, hey, man, what's happening? And it was survival. So I went to the local SA, grabbed me a knife, and came home with some food.
Okay. Did from that particular piece of knowledge, did you continue on from that?
I learned to continue to survive. So, of course, to young men in my circumstances, gang life was next.
Oh, so survival, the transition was, in my thought process, the transition was, I can't just do this by myself. I need something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know that the common knowledge is, oh, they a bunch of thugs. Ooh. However, what I say is, my gang saved my life. Here I was, a young man on the streets with nothing or no one, and here go a group of people saying, hey, man, here, I'll help you survive. And despite what anybody might say, I don't see that as being evil or bad.
It's your, what do you say, lizard brain, your natural instinct. You're trying to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or die, right?
Or die.
Yeah,
right. And who the hell wants the opposite?
Let me lay down and die. Yeah, nigga, stop it.
Right. So how would you describe, just in general, the gang life in general?
My particular path, or just in general gang life?
I'm gonna say yours, because you got something out of it that is a benefit that benefits you today. So it has to be something in that regard.
What I seen out of that aspect was rising through the hierarchy. You know what I mean? I noticed that there was a hierarchy there. It was a king, somebody on the top, and just my natural self was I was trying to make it to the top. So,
that explains a lot for today. So from the gang life, you got older, life happened, life was lifing, and you transitioned and you used some of the skills or whatever that you've developed to get into a certain gig or whatever. With that gig, what is that gig, and how did it benefit you?
Well, actually, there goes the 8 years in jail.
Oh, you didn't talk about that. Okay.
Well, I mean, we got to get to there. That's how I have to learn.
You spent 8 years in jail?
Yeah.
As a youth?
Yeah.
Where was that at?
Nope.
Okay. So in those 8 years, do you feel there was any type of knowledge transition, anything that you got from that?
Yeah, I had this weird thing about doing dead time. Like I couldn't be somewhere and not accomplish something with a whole bunch of time that I got, right? I just, therein lies me learning, me teaching myself, me understanding things. I got my GED, I got my license. I was ready, but I was a full, I went from a little teenager to a 20-year-old man now. So, I'm ready to hit the streets. So I got what was necessary in there to come out and hit the streets.
And when you hit the streets, where did that lead you?
I copped a job at this place called Augie's Cabaret. Shout out Augie's Cabaret.
Hold up, that's a titty bar, man.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But also,
that's a titty bar. All right.
It has two other historical points.
Augie's has history?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
What you mean?
Well, one is the bar itself was named, made by mobster Augie Ratner. He wrote a book. I read the book. I got it right here. I'm gonna just grab it. Oh, there it go. He had the book right here, man.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. He's a mobster who used to run liquor back in the days from Chicago to Minneapolis. So, that bar has that historical history, and then it also has another history, and that history is it is the only black strip club in the whole entire state of Minnesota.
Minnesota got a number of people. You telling me with the number of people there is only one black strip club?
One.
Well, I mean, it got to be huge.
Some would say Magic City bigger than us.
So in this area, this small area, you've how long were you doing this?
20 years.
You was at Augie's for 20 years.
20 years.
So is that so I remember you saying something about the gang life and learning that or whatever and wanting to be the king. So I'm just wondering if that transitioned into Augie's at all.
Absolutely. So yep, I started off as a bouncer, and I worked my way up to ownership.
Full owner.
Full owner. Now, I wasn't the full owner.
Partner.
But I had full ownership as me, the black man. But nobody owned the whole situation.
What and why, in terms of your transition from a bouncer, like why do you feel someone's like, nah, he's worthy to be a partner? And what did you do? Because from what I gather, and I know, and I'm just putting it out there, Augie's was one of the roughest spots to be going to. So your background, being a bouncer, you're good at that. You're good at whooping ass, basically, right? What is the transition to where somebody's like, nah, I got to get, there's more in him, or whatever the case?
There was a ambition to grow, to expand, to evolve, to make more of. I could see it. I can see it like it's laid out in front of me, all the avenues and the way and how to connect with my community, to keep my community safe, to keep my community smiling, to keep my community coming back. I know it. I know it like the back of my hand because I love my community.
All right, that makes sense. So, I mean, from that, did you? I know you was a biker. Did you transition into being a biker, or did that all happen at the
Shout
same
out
time?
Family MC.
Family MC was your crew?
Absolutely.
Okay. Talk about
bad boy bikers. You know what makes a bad boy biker a bad boy biker? See, most don't understand. I'm gonna tell you understand. You know what I mean? Because there's some bad boys out there. You can't just say that you're a biker and just ride across the town. You know what I mean? You gotta put that sucker on the highway. You know what I mean? So we did it across the USA, and that was what made us a legend here in this state.
Talking about Family MC.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I retired as the president of Family MC too.
So, question: were you part owner at Augie's and president at this MC as well?
What you mean at the same time?
At same time, yeah.
Absolutely.
Word?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know leadership well. What's the biggest advantage or what's the biggest thing about bikers that drew you?
The brotherhood. Bikers have the most incredible brotherhood than any other organization I have ever been a part of. They have this link with each other that is so strong that I'm proud to just have known that world.
So that is a direct transition from. I remember you speaking transition from the gang life. I remember you told me in terms of levels and understanding, in terms of age and stuff like that. That some of the younger gang life or whatever, the transition or the OGs or whatever. I know you can explain it better than I'm saying it, but the bikers are the standing point of that.
Yeah. So if you got your hierarchy on the street, you got your street thug, you know what I mean? They, for the most part, take care of their block, their area, you know what I mean? Then you got your gangs, which is, a bit bigger, you know what I mean? They got a bigger reach, but they still got a lot of young, impulsiveness, you know what I mean? Non-strategic, they just kind of on the whim. Then you got your bikers who are also massive, right? But they're older and they're quiet, right? You know what I mean? They ride their bikes and they don't, for the most part, don't really deal with nobody but each other. However, if you test one, you may have to test them all quickly.
The entire MC?
No, the entire community.
Ooh. Damn. So I do know that y'all MCs, bikers, y'all get together at a lot of functions. So is that still, even though I'm family MC and I'm this MC and so on and so forth, y'all collectively get together or whatever. So is that what you're talking about in terms of that camaraderie? Like we get together, we fuck with each other, and that's the deal?
Yeah, they call annuals. Every biker club, what you got is you got your RC, your rider club, then you got your MC, your motorcycle club, and then you got your outlaw. And yeah, everybody supports everybody. You got your annual, your birthday, the time where you celebrate, and everybody who fuck with you come to your celebration, right? They show love, they spend money, you know what I mean? And that's how we sustain our community.
So ultimately, through all of that, we talking about this what makes you qualified. Your childhood, your life in the streets, Augie's, which transitioned you into being a leader, as well as side by side being with the bikers. That's what qualifies you.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Tell us.
What qualifies me is the perplexity to stand up for the bottom. See, what you're looking at is you're looking at a young man who goes stand up for people who ain't got it, people who traditionally been shut out, people who don't nobody want to fuck with no more, people who being bullied, right? Yeah, I stand up for them. This is what I do.
What's your term again? You call it you a
bully buster.
Bully buster, right?
Yeah. So somebody I know, everybody tough and everybody, got the history to kill or whatever they do, right? However, there's just some people who ain't gonna let you.
You one of them people. Dig that. Well, thanks for answering the questions. We appreciate a glimpse into your mind, your life, your history, and whatnot. And I know that we got more to come. I'm sure you're gonna give us more, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Give you a little bit.
All right, we out here.